welcome to my channel on the best of fantasy. This is the week that was, and I have a little update for the celebration live stream that I am very excited to have with all of you. I initially scheduled it, or was thinking of scheduling it on the same day as the Super Bowl, unbeknownst to me, and I don't think I can quite compete with the Super Bowl, so I decided to move the live stream. As much as we have lots to celebrate here, it might be wise not to try to compete with the Super Bowl. So I'm moving the live stream to Saturday, February 18 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and I hope that time works for as many of you as possible. I would love to see you there. We're going to be celebrating the channel passing 20,000 subscribers, which is just incredible to me, and I am grateful for every single one of you and all the interactions that we have in the comments. And I just, this channel would be nothing without all of you. That is for certain, and so I am very grateful. And I hope to see you at the live stream, and come with your questions, come with, and also we are, by the way, celebrating the imminent publication of my first book, The Way of Edan, which is book 1 in the Edan trilogy. As you might know by now, it's coming out on March 21st, and I'm just, everything is going super well with that. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I'm very excited. Looks like we're going to be able to meet that date, and and of course, books 2 and 3 are also going to be out this year. Book 2 on June 21st and Book 3 on September 21st. All that is for the paperback and the ebook, and then the audiobook is going to be out late summer. And if you haven't heard yet, Alan from the Library of Alexandria is going to be doing the audiobook. So that is going to be a lot of fun. I think he's going to be pretty good at it. So, but yes, for the live stream on Saturday, the 18th of February, come with your questions about the channel, about the books, whatever you like, and I think it's going to be a grand time. So on the channel, I did have an episode of Dear Dr. Fantasy. It was, in fact, the Nemesis edition. Yes, I had A.P. Canavan from A Critical Dragon, also known as Professor Fireballs, much to his pleasure, as my guest for Dear Dr. Fantasy. It was the right time to have AP as my guest, and that was a lot of fun. It was just a blast. And don't tell him this, but I do have a lot of respect for him and for his vast knowledge of fantasy. The fellow is a doctor of fantasy, but he is not Dr. Fantasy. He'll just have to settle for Professor Fireballs. But it was so much fun to talk with AP and to pick his brain and learn about his reading journey, which is quite a considerable one. And it was just a good time. It's always a good time chatting with the Nemesis. And I also had a review on the channel of Blood Rights, Book 6 in the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. And I had a great time actually reading Blood Rights. I expected to like it less than I actually did. And no, it's not my favorite Dresden Files book so far. That probably would be, I think, book 5. 4 and 5 were both, I thought, an elevated level from the first 3. And then 6 was just a little below that. I think probably more along the lines of the first couple books. But I still liked it. There was a lot of fun, a lot of action, and some real interesting development of Harry as a character, and his relationships with some of the secondary characters really took on some dynamic force in Blood Rights that I appreciated a lot. There's a lot of depth being carved out here, slowly but surely, with this series, and I'm looking forward to continuing in Dresden Files. I probably won't get to book 7 in the very near future, but I will get to it most certainly. I would hope by early summer, maybe. Did I say early summer? Yeah, probably more like late spring. Late spring, I think, for book 7 of Dresden Files. But and elsewhere, I was also in a discussion with AP. Speaking of the Nemesis, on Legend by David Gemmell, a book that I finally read. I had been talking about reading it for so long, And probably since the first year of the channel, I've been wanting to read David Gemmell, probably because of AP, but also it was a book that I had long wanted to read too. And I'm so happy that I did. I had a great time reading Legend and also a wonderful time talking about it with AP, and I think that it was a really good discussion. I think we covered Legend pretty well. An incredible book, really. A great influence on a lot of writers that I consider to be some of my favorites. And now Gemmell can join them. I'm going to read some more Gemmell this year for sure. I have what is it called? The something about the King's Gate, or something about Beyond the King's Gate, or The King Beyond the Gate, or something like that. Sorry, I'm messing up that title. But also Waylander. So I have those two. Probably going to read those as well later this year. And they go fast. At least Legend certainly did. So I'm hoping the others will be relatively quick reads that I can insert here and there among the bigger reads that I am planning. Speaking of which, I do have some big reads here I'm going to talk about in a moment. But first, I do want to mention, upcoming, there's going to be a chat with Murphy Napier on Vinland Saga, the last part of Book 12 and Book 13. So we are going to be current with Vinland Saga, at least current in terms of the book releases here in the United States. So I am very happy. And when the future Vinland Saga books get released, of course, we'll come back to this series, and I'm really excited to do that. I really enjoyed Book 13 a lot. Actually, I told Murphy that it is my favorite of the 13 books that I've read so far of Vinland Saga, and you'll see why if you watch that discussion. I found it to be a very moving book in a couple places, so I really thought it was a great job by Yukimura to tie a lot of the important things that he's been working on throughout the series together in a way that I found compelling and moving. So I enjoyed that very much. And Murphy and I also had our discussion on the first bind-up of Vagabond. I guess that includes 3 books. It's kind of like 3 books in one, kind of like these 2 big chunkers here. So we had our first discussion on the first bind-up of Vagabond, and it was a good chat. It's going to be, by the way, on Murphy's channel, her second channel, Murphy Napier Reviews, formerly known as Murphy Napier Vlogs. And we had a great time, and I'm expecting this Vagabond series to get better and better. I was pretty hooked. I found it pretty gripping from the beginning. The art is fantastic. I really like the art a lot in Vagabond. I was immediately in admiration of that. And I think there's some interesting storytelling going on too, and I'm curious to see where it goes. So we did have a very good discussion of that, and trying to pick up on some of the themes, many of which are actually similar in some way to Vinland Saga. Tonally, the two are different, but there are some very similar themes, I think, so far in there, which I find interesting. So I'm looking forward to continuing with Vagabond. And so speaking of what I'm reading, yes, here we are. So I am in the midst of Golden Fool. This is the second book in the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb, and it's Robin Hobb. So of course I'm enjoying myself. I'm like a third of the way through the book, and I've already been in tears once. And if you've read The Golden Fool, you probably know the scene. Boy, Hobb can just get you. She can just get you with that. You know, you don't even realize how connected you are to these characters, I think, until suddenly you find yourself bawling at a certain scene. But yeah, I'm enjoying it very much so far. Typical Hobb book. It's a nice, slow start to sort of allow you to relax into, be immersed into the story. And I can see already some threads where things are going to be picking up here and getting rather exciting. So yeah, we shall see. But yeah, it's Hobb. So I have complete faith that I'm going to enjoy this very much. The previous book in Tawny Man, Fool's Errand, was my favorite Hobb book so far in the realm of the Elderlings, and I'm just expecting great things to come based on all the praise for her marvelous writing. And then I'm going to pick up the first book in the Book of the New Sun, which is the Shadow of the Torturer, and this is in this omnibus edition. I have 2 in 1. and that is something that I am very excited about, and I'm going to be talking to some buddies about, and so it is a priority. Hopefully I get to this soon, and I will probably need to do a bit of research on this one, because I hear, rumor is that it is a wee bit complicated, or that there's a lot going on, or I know something about an unreliable narrator, and I don't know what else, but I am going to have fun investigating, and certainly going to be leaning on the individuals that I'll be chatting with. That's going to be Matt from Matt on Books, and a fellow who does not have a YouTube channel but is doing a PhD in fantasy and is a big fan of Gene Wolfe. So I think it'll be a learning discussion for me for sure when we get together for that. Then I'm probably going to have to get going with the next Vagabond bind-ups, because Murphy and I have a nice regular schedule to get through this series. So there's the second bind-up I have here, and the third. I've got them ready to go, and these read very fast. These look huge, but there are not a lot of words in there. I do tend to linger over the illustrations because I do admire the art, but these go really fast. I can get through one of these usually easily in a day. So if I really push myself hard, I might even be able to read 2 in a day, but definitely 1 a day. So these I'll get out of the way, and I really am excited to see where this story goes. There's certain characters here that I really like. Takuan the monk is probably my favorite character in Vagabond so far, so I'll be curious to see what happens with him. And then I'm going to read Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft, and again, this is going to be a buddy read. I'm going to be talking about this with Alan from the Library of Alexandria and Ben from Overly Average Ben. So guys, this is your warning. I'm going to be starting this relatively soon, 2-3 weeks. And after that, it's going to be Jade City by Fonda Lee, the first book in the Greenbone Saga, which I will be discussing with Bookborn and with Taylor from May Between the Pages. So I've been talking about this read along, this buddy read that I'm going to be doing. And I am definitely behind on the Greenbone Saga, but I'm going to jump aboard the hype train, and hopefully I'm going to love this one as well. So those are my near future reading plans. And I am really excited. I think I've got a really nice lineup here. And yeah, we'll see what happens after that. So, upcoming, I have some Dear Dr. Fantasy episodes all scheduled. I'm excited for. In fact, perhaps when you are watching this, I will be chatting with my most current Dear Dr. Fantasy guest. And I'm sure that's going to be a great time. And I have a chat lined up with Jack Shepard, who is my map maker for my trilogy, and I'm very excited to talk with Jack about the map and the cultural influences that have gone into it, and to the place names and so on and so forth, and what our process for designing the map. I think it would be interesting to discuss that as well. And then later, I haven't got it scheduled yet because it's not quite done, but the cover is coming along great, and I'm very, very excited for that too. It is conveying the right vibe that I want it to convey, so I think it's going to be good, guys. I think it's going to be a really good cover, and I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I am enjoying the cover, and I will have a nice cover reveal video that I talked about in the last episode of the week that was. I'm going to have some music along with it. It's going to be sort of a book trailer, and the music coming from Ravenskjold. Very grateful for that. That's going to be, I hope, an interesting video for everybody. And I think it's really exciting to see the covers. Covers are fun. And so, yeah, I don't have any great big new publishing news to share, except that I have a pretty good list of arcs to send out to folks. So hopefully, if they like the Way of Edan, there'll be some buzz in the upcoming weeks, and especially the couple weeks before March 21st when the book is released. So once again, if you haven't heard, I am publishing through Amazon KDP. So the books will be available anywhere Amazon is available, but I'm also, and that's by the way for ebook and paperback, but you can also get paperback through Ingram Spark, which is where a lot of the small bookstores and libraries and so on and so forth are going to be ordering from. So hopefully it'll be accessible to all of you that way. So yeah, that's it for me for this week, and I am very excited for what's to come. Lots of great things here on BookTube, and I want to thank you all for watching and for being part of this channel. I am so happy to be celebrating these good things with you. That's it for me for now. Until next time.